Hey, welcome back, Citysteaders. Today's video should be fun. So I got tagged by hashtag Rose Knows. Rose over at Wholesome Roots. And she's one of my favorite gardening channels. I absolutely adore the knowledge that she shares and how she approaches sharing that knowledge. It's informative, it's factual, and she can't be duplicated. She does an amazing job. So when I was asked to be in this collaboration, tagged by her, I was beyond pumped. So the collaboration is 5 gardening tips in 5 minutes. So I feel like 5 tips in 5 minutes is definitely going to be a challenge, but I think we can do it. I've already watched a bunch of these, and I know a lot of people already went over 5 minutes. So I know it's hard, but we're going to do something here. We're going to give you 5 things that I think are good tips for gardening that maybe aren't exactly what you thought you would be hearing. So one of my gardening tips is get yourself some really good tools. Now, you might think, oh, that should be a secondary thing, a third thing. You shouldn't even worry about that. I'll tell you what, if you have good, strong, solid tools when you're out there working in your garden, it will take a lot of frustrations out of the gardening process. Why would I say that decent tools are actually a good thing for gardening? You might be thinking, well, I'm a beginner. What do I need good tools for? Well, good tools can start you on a good foot. Say you're a first-time gardener and you've never worked your soil. Maybe you got clay or you don't know what it is, right? It could be hard soil. And then you go put your shovel in the ground and you got this flimsy shovel you bought at the Dollar Tree or something. And you go put it and you bend it and the handle bends on it, right? So now your shovel bent and you're already thinking in your mind, like, can I garden already? Because you're a beginner, right? Maybe you've never done it before. So you already have some doubt. And now you put your shovel in the ground, and the first thing it does is bend and break on you. That doubt is going to become a little bit more, I think, for most people, you know, like. So if you have a nice sturdy handled shovel to start with that you know is not going to have any issues, you're going to be starting yourself off on the right foot when it comes to gardening. So another gardening tip is kind of based on the principles of permaculture. Number 1 is observe. If you don't know anything about your land, you're not going to know what to do. So here's one of the quirks I have on my property. This right here, that's my garden. That's the sunniest spot in my entire yard. All day long, it gets the most sun. You know what also happens? It happens to be the low point of our yard. So all the water stores right here, and it kind of makes a big whoosh up through the back of the garden over there. Hence, after doing some observation before we did anything, now we have raised beds here. And you notice I didn't go very high up my raised beds. They're just enough to keep the plants from being sitting and soaking pile of water. And having short raised beds is really just my preference. I believe that directly into the ground is the best soil you will find. Even if you had raised beds that you amended the most, I think that's the best soil always to plant in. Now I know this one's already been used, but I can't stress the importance of vertical gardening. Now, you know, here at the Citystead, we are an urban garden. We are a half an acre. And if you look at my yard, it looks more like I'm growing cattle panels at all times. So this year I went through and I added even more of them. They're all over here. Because the more you can grow upward in any space, it doesn't matter if you're limited in city lot acreage or if you have a ginormous backyard. Cattle panels will give you so much more versatility when it comes to planting. You can plant some things up, you can plant things low to use the climate plants as shade, and it just gives you a lot of really good options when it comes to growing and configuration in your garden. So I say always go vertical no matter how much space you have, because it can do a lot for you. So another tip I got for you guys, learn companion planting. I can't stress this enough that companion planting can do a lot. And this is also kind of a base off of permaculture. They believe in a diverse, ecosystem at all times. So when you companion plant, you're creating that diverse ecosystem. If you were to come out into your garden and just put 50 rows of tomatoes, then you're going to have all the pests in the world that are related to tomatoes, because you have created the environment that they want to live in and thrive in. Whereas if you intermix a lot of things and you plant maybe your marigolds, your basils around your tomatoes, then you're going to give your tomatoes a chance to fight off those pests, because they're not going to want to come past the outside layer of the marigolds and the basil. So companion planting, super important. Learn it. I will put a link to a couple books down below that are really good informational companion planting books. So another tip I got for you is to really learn the plants that you're planting. A lot of plants have different quirks that maybe you weren't familiar with, so you should really know like their season, their length, you know, anything that can help you grow these plants is going to be beneficial to learn. Like, say, did you know that cucamelons actually grow ginormous tubulars? Now what you can do with these tubulars is store them in some peat moss in your garage or greenhouse or basement, and then come spring you can come out and plant these, and you'll already have a really good root system to start basing your new cucumella plants off of. See, this is what I mean about really getting to know your plants. A lot of people don't know that. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed those 5 tips. I hope I gave you a couple new ones that maybe you haven't heard before in this collaboration. Thank you again, Rose, for inviting me to be part of it. I really appreciate Rose a lot. So she's an awesome pillar in the community. To me, just unthinkable for what she's done so far. Alright, well, now comes a point in this video where I gotta take 3 channels. So I got 3 that I think are going to be really good and kind of give different perspectives throughout the whole thing. So the first one I want to tag is my buddy Ope over at Brew City Gardener. He is awesome. He does a lot of straw bale gardening, something different than what I do, something different than what a lot of people do. So maybe he's got some different tips and tricks for us, being that he does a lot of stuff in straw bales. Another channel that I want to tag is Waterman Homestead. They sent me this awesome shirt. Super pumped about it. So I'm going to tag them because I like them. They're a young couple doing some homesteading stuff there. And I think that's like awesome. It's great seeing younger people do it. I mean, I'm not like old. I'm like in the middle more, I guess. But it's just great seeing people start at a younger age. I wish I would have started at a much younger age to get really into it. So really like them. I've been enjoying their channel quite a bit. They're pretty nice people. So go check them out, and I'm tagging them. So you'll see a video from them. And the last one I want to tag is Punky Rooster. She has an incredible journey throughout the whole homestead in the world. She's like a vegetarian who raised animals to see if that was something she wanted to do, and she's kind of been back to being a vegetarian. So her perspective on being on all sides of the homestead and stuff is just, it kind of blows my mind a little bit, seeing that how well-rounded it is about it. So just something different. I like that she has a different perspective that she brings to the homestead and lifestyle, and she just does a lot of really cool stuff too. And so those are my 3 tags, guys. Check them out. I'll link them all down below. All right, you know I got one bonus tip I'm gonna throw in there for you guys. You can see behind me, this is the bulk of the Citystead here, all the garden beds, the greenhouse, all the way back to the garage there. And it's quite a good sized garden for just our family. My tip, my final tip, my bonus tip to you is to probably start small. You don't want to go something full scale like this size unless you really know that you are in it and you know how to manage some of the stuff, because this can start getting overwhelming the larger you get with it. It wasn't always this big, guys. We just had a small little dirt patch here that we tilled every year because we didn't know anything when we started. Definitely we've been evolving over the years to reach to this point. So start on a smaller scale if you're unsure about how much time you have to dedicate to it, or if you're just unsure about gardening in general, homesteading in general. Start on a smaller scale and work yourselves up. But while also doing that, be bold. If somebody says you can't grow this and you really want to try it, create that microclimate. Try to do it, because you never know. You never know what's going to grow and what's not going to grow in your area unless you try. Now obviously up here in the north I can't grow, you know, like a banana tree. But I might be able to grow like a jujube tree or something like that maybe is labeled a zone 7 tree, and I do try it. In fact, I have one over there, and guys, it survived. I even have 3 different fig trees on this property. So there are a lot of things that I will try and be bold at, and sometimes they fail, and sometimes they amaze you, and you will be happy that you gave that a fighting chance. So start small, work yourselves up, and don't be afraid to be bold. That's the end of the video. We'll see you guys in the next one.